guys, welcome back to the channel. I am currently out in Shelby Township, Michigan at River Bends Disc Golf Course. It is a 27 hole course. I'm not sure if I'm going to play all 27. Might skip around here and there, depends on the course conditions. It is built very, very low. It does have a tendency to hold a lot of water. There's no real snow out here right now, but that could be that everything's thawed and there could be some standing water here and there. So we're going to see how that turns out and just play whatever holes I can. I'm going to try to get through all 27 though. It's a little breezy today, so that should be a little interesting. Typically though, you don't see too much of a wind factor when you get down into the meat of the course. Up top though, like where I'm at right now on hole 1, the wind definitely comes into play a lot. There's going to be a few holes then up top, or at least built a little higher up, that will have some sort of effect. So that being said, hopefully you have a decent round, and let's get into it. Alright, so hole 1 is about 385 feet. It is off to the right inside that tree line. It's a solid forehand hole, but being the first shot, I typically don't like to go forehand right off the bat. So I'm trying to throw my halo on a hyzer flip turnover, and I managed to get, some out of it, but didn't quite get the carry that I wanted to. So I went up real short, didn't make the corner then, and this is definitely a hole that you don't want to run. There is a pretty big slope on the back side of this basket, so anything missing, as you can see right here, you are sailing. So just get in there, get my 3, get out, on to the next hole. Hole 2, it's 220 feet. It is not quite straight. You want to bleed the disc out right just a little bit. I went with my Retro Mercy. Got a little sneaky through that left side. It didn't flip up as fast as I wanted it to, but I did get through, so I'm looking at about 25 foot putt or so. Cash that in then for my first birdie. Feeling pretty good. You can have your round get really derailed pretty fast on the first 2 holes and go like bogey, but coming out 1 under, I'm happy with it. Hole 3, 258 feet. There's 2 distinct gaps. You can go left side with a flip up forehand or a turnover, or you can go right side with a hyzer flip. I suppose you could do a forehand flex through that right side. I went with my fuse. Got the nice little turnover. Got some lucky scuttle with the snow on the ground. Didn't quite get the height though that I wanted on the throw, so I wound up a little shy. No big deal. Sitting at about, I don't know, 28 to 30. Send it her home though. Nice. Send it her. Sent. Oh geez. Hole 4, 385 feet. This is a very, very straight shot. It may look like there's room to work, but ideally you want the disc to just flip to flat, maybe shift to the right 5 feet tops. I don't know what happened here. I think I might have lifted my head a little early. It definitely came out on hyzer, but it came out way, way, way too high. I basically just threw a big swooping shot. So I'm very, very shy of the basket over on this left-hand side, which is better than the right-hand side, though, in my opinion. And kind of fluffed my upshot with my Cenis, which was not ideal. So I'm leaving myself probably about 20-footer, 22-footer. River Bends does still have old Mach 3 baskets, which, if you're not familiar with them at all, notoriously do not like spin putts. I tend to struggle on these. Got lucky on the left side catch. So leaving myself like early long putts is very, very sketchy for me. But we got it. Hole 5, it's 395 feet. This one is, while it looks like it's a solid right to left hole, it's not. You want something that flips up the flat and really pushes forward. I managed to get my ballista to do just that, but I was a little late on the release. So I wound up short on this right-hand side, which is not ideal. Typically, the miss that you want to make is to put yourself on the left-hand side. While it looks like there's a bunch of brush over there, it's not too terrible. Whoa. Almost rung in the 2, though. Little backhand patent pending with my Cenis.
I hit the cage.
Just shy. So it was an easy 3, which I'm not too unhappy about. It's a tough hole. It's a bonus birdie. Hole 6, 463 feet. This is a slight right to left. The biggest part of this hole is the distance aspect. So you need, if you're throwing a backhand turnover, you need to really push that left-hand side, which I did. I managed to get my ballista out there and to turn over, but I had no height on it whatsoever. So it just kind of burned into the ground. So I'm left here probably about 250, 260 feet away. So we're just throwing up there with my Retro Mercy. Happened to leak it out a little bit to the left, so I'm left with a small tester here. But we saved the par, no problem. Hole 7. This is the only true par 4 on the course. It's 565 feet. The object is to get past that dark tree in the middle. If you can push the next tree line, that is ideal. But giving yourself any position between that dark tree and that next tree line is what you're looking for. And I wound up smack dab in between it. Unfortunately, this is one of the areas on the course that holds a lot of water, so my lie was actually on a bunch of ice, so I wasn't really able to take a pretty solid and balanced stance. You can see I'm trying to work something up here to allow my feet to dig in. Couldn't quite get a lot on my throw. Was worried about slipping. So I got my Cenis to about circle's edge. Yeah, I'd say it's circle's edge. So not terrible. I mean, it's a putt that's well within my range. So we're looking to just get that birdie 3. And unfortunately, I was a little too high. Came off the top and shot me off into the brush over here. So now I have to take a stance underneath this tree. Try to save my par comebacker. Cash that one, so no damage done. Hole 8 is 410 feet. It's definitely reachable, but the fairway is very, very specific. There's a bailout area to the left that you just go and miss all that brush that's in the center of the fairway. The fairway itself is a flip up to flat shot that sort of bends. Actually, it sort of just shifts to the right. You don't really want the disc to turn or to bank because the fairway itself, as you can see here, is quite narrow. So you're looking to just sort of shift to the right then and come through that, through this little area here. I didn't quite get it up to flat enough. I was thinking it was going to miss. Had I got that shift, though, I probably would have. So we're just going to pitch up there and try to get our par, because this hole is another one of those holes that can really eat your lunch if you are not careful. Hole 9, it's 220 feet, probably plays about 280. It's up the hill. It is slightly off center of the screen. There's 2 bigger trees. It is actually to the right of the second tree that's on the right. Having a little trouble getting my height upon releases correct right now. I was really happy with the flight and the line, but it needed to be higher to give it space, or to give it time to shift over to the right before it hits those trees. Thought I had a really good run on this one. Unfortunately came up just a little short, so we're just tapping in a simple par and moving on. Hole 10, it's 425 feet. This is a really fun shot, and it can be really challenging because typically the headwind is coming up this hill. What you're trying to do is to get the disc to flip to flat and ride forward. It is not something that you want to have dump. Unfortunately, I didn't get it low enough to throw down the slope. I did manage to get it to flip up, which is fine, but because I was so high, I wound up catching that big tree that was on the left side of the corner there and dropped me pretty short. If you do get that flip up to flat and ride straight, valiant bid. If you do get it to flip up flat and ride straight though, you typically hit just past that service road that runs down the center of the fairway and you get a pretty nice skip. So whatever, another par, just kind of on a par train right now. It is what it is. Hole 11, it's 265 feet. This one is pretty much dead straight. This is a throw what you like. Any disc that's going to go straight, minimal shifting. If you do throw the backhand, as a righty, you do, I guess, want a little bit of shift, but it's not really necessary. Anything that just goes dead straight for you. Which, Gold Line Mercy off the tee, put me in a real nice position. Easy peasy, breezy. The River Bends mud is starting to show up on these interior holes. Hole 12 is 340 feet. There's two distinct ways to play this. There's the forehand flex line, which I don't typically take. I decided I was going to try it out today. So I have a criminal in my hand. We're going to try to get it up in the air and get it to flex, which I did manage to get up in the air, but I think I kind of threw it nose down and just over torqued it. So it never really had time to flex out. The other play is to throw a backhand like putter or mid through this right side. There's actually a lot of gaps in there, and if you can kind of get a little luck through them, you can get down a good ways. Kind of halfway gave a bid to this basket with the Retro Mercy, but walked away with just the par again. Hole 13, 130 feet. I feel like it's a little bit longer than that. We're just kind of going off, you know, what UDisc has and what the T signs are. So we're just throwing my Cetus out on a wide angle. I wanted it a little bit higher to kind of give the ace run. It looked like I caught the base of the tree, which is fine. It only kind of pushed me off a little bit, but still relatively close. So we got that birdie. Hole 14, 145 feet, par 3. The basket is right behind that tall tree that's in the middle of the brush in the center of the screen. It really is just kind of like a soft hyzer throw. You don't really want something that's really overstable. You don't want something that goes too straight. You just want to have it hold a soft hyzer angle the whole way through the flight. And usually you'll be right around this area, walking away with a birdie. Hole 15, it's 375 feet. I believe it actually radars at about 400. This one's tricky because it wants you to just throw like a stock, like flip to flat hyzer shot. Unfortunately, the wind was really picking up here, so it kind of became like, okay, what is going to hold up to the wind and not go crazy turnover on me, but what isn't necessarily going to fade a whole bunch, because I'm going to definitely wind up in the river. So I went with the Gold Line Burst Ballista Pro. I got a lot of turn out of it, for sure. I kind of went nose up on it too, so it stalled on me. So I wound up real short. No real opportunity to get the birdie on this one. So at this point, we're just, you know, pitch it up there, get it nice and close. Cetus to the rescue. With good wind, you can usually throw even a mid-range or a good solid forehand out over the water, but the wind just was not cooperating today. Hole 16, 385 feet. This one is a flip the flat shot. Unfortunately, the wind that I was dealing with makes it a little harder, because while it was a headwind on the last hole, this wind acts really strongly coming off the water when it's a tailwind. So without any real height on the disc, it doesn't get anywhere, which once again wasn't really getting my height right on my releases. So I wound up real shy. Had an opportunity though for, you know, to kind of jump it in. I went super sky high on that jump putt, step putt, but I wasn't very far off, so left me close enough that this basket wasn't anything to worry about. This is a short basket, and I have problems with it. Can't even get my disc out. I don't know what it is, but it being short just messes with me. Hole 17, 335 feet is what U-Disc says, 322 is what the sign says. Going with an opto striker here. You can go straight down the fairway, in which case you need something that has no movement. I typically like to throw my striker slightly over the right-hand side and kind of ride over all those reeds. I did catch the tree that I actually am set up next to right now. So the only real option is throwing a pancake up and over my cart. You can see the disc fly into center screen. That was a Opto Trident. It hit nicely though, and I got a decent enough slide. I was a little short still, but I'm looking at about circle's edge, so it's not terrible. Solid putt right there, so we're saving the par. Hole 18 is 290 feet. This one you can do one of two things. You can go overstable fairway driver and rip it hard and flat and let it take the corner. I usually like to take my core and do a hyzer flip so it just kind of floats around the corner. Unfortunately, I was a little inside. I got through the mess, which is good, but because I was low and inside, I just had no shot of getting up the fairway. So we're just trying for the step putt approach, and again I'm floating it. I don't really know what was going on today, but I just couldn't seem to get my discs to be on like a level plane. It was either a little too high or a little too low, but the putting was feeling good, especially on these Mach 3s, so I'll take it. Hole 19 is 430 feet. You can go up the gut with a real tight hyzer flip, or even a forehand flip up or forehand flex. I typically go this right side. These branches have gotten bigger, so it kind of makes it a little tougher. You have to go below the branches now. You used to be able to just kind of go around them, but since they've grown out to the right more, you have to be underneath them. So you need a disc that's going to definitely flip up to flat, but have at least enough fade to kind of work you back to the fairway. I got the first half right. I didn't quite have the fade back, so we're just kind of left out here in no man's land at about 60 feet and just pitching it up so we can have our par putt and walk away. Thought that one was coming out. Hole 20, it's 270 feet. Plays kind of like 320. It's weird. It doesn't seem like it's that far, but the shot required is a flip up to flat, pushing shot. I got a little too high, caught some branches, fluttered me off to the side. If I was probably about 10 feet lower, I can get past the tree. The tree that I hit was actually this right side screen. I can get past that one and kind of like split the two trees then and get an approach up to the basket. So I'm left out here. This is probably, I don't know, 70 feet or so. I have a branch in my way, and it was whether I wanted to kind of just hyzer approach or maybe give it a half run and center home.
Hell yeah.
Super stoked about that one. That one came out really, really nice. Hole 21, 340 feet. This is a pretty standard right to left hole. Object is to just take my Pioneer, rip it out flat, then have it miss the tree that's on the right hand side, and it typically just fades nice and easy by the basket. I think I got a little bit nose up on it, so it stalled a little bit early, so I'm sitting here at about 25 feet or so. Birdie putt though with a slanter. Hole 22, 266 feet. This one is sort of like the previous hole. It's just not as much of a hyzer angle. This one is more of a kind of soft hyzer, and you want to run that right side or just throw them flat. I went with the Moonshine Mercy on that soft hyzer angle. Managed to miss everything that I needed to miss and stayed up above the reeds for an absolute park job. Hole 23, 356 feet. The two ways to attack this hole is the forehand, which I'm opting for. You want something that kind of flips to flat on the right-hand side of the leaning tree that you see in the middle of the screen. The other shot is a backhand turnover that flips on the inside of that tree. I'm going to the outside. I got the good release. I got the good flip up to flat. Unfortunately, it just took a long time to start fading. So I wound up going a little too straight. Got caught up in this left side, which the left side is a little bit harder than the right side because the gap that you have to shoot through to get to the green is kind of more lined up with the right-hand side. So I figure if I can just get my slammer and float it up, I'll be fine. Unfortunately, I forgot how to throw a disc in the air and buried it into the ground probably about 40 feet or so short. So now I'm left with this long par look. Hopefully I can catch that one then and continue the bogey-free round. Not a chance. Not even metal. Just a complete air ball. Unfortunately, this will be my first bogey. It almost came out on me. I didn't even really pay attention to that one. Terrible four. Yep. Hole 24 is 470 feet. The actual fairway, weirdly enough, is not the line that most people play. It's not the line that favors the hole. The line is straight ahead of where the tee pad is pointing, so on the right-hand side of that bunch of trees. Just ripping a hyzer flip, max distance, trying to get as much as you can out of it through the right-hand side. I got through all the trees, which was fine, but unfortunately, I think I did catch something. I wasn't 100% sure, because it looked really good, but it kind of came to the ground relatively quickly. So I'm short by about, I don't know, 20, 30 feet easy of what I thought I should be. We're just jump putting, approaching, getting ourselves close. So you just take the par, keep on going. Hole 25, 382 feet, plays like 430. It is a pretty distinct hyzer flip shot. Basically, if you can just run this service road the entire way up, you have a really good opportunity to skip up past the gate. I got a little high on it, a little nose up, so I didn't quite get all the way up to the gate itself. I mean, I'm pretty close, as you can see here. And unfortunately, I did hit the leaves. Had I hit the service road itself, the gravel, I could have gotten myself a skip through the gate. But I'm left with a manageable putt. And this is definitely a bonus birdie for sure. It's tough to get all the way up there. I've seen great shots hit that gate even. And we caught cage on that run. Pretty close. It would have been nice to get that one, kind of counteract that bogey on 23. Coming down to the stretch now, last two holes. We've got hole 26, 375 feet. It is to the left of the center of the screen. If you can kind of make out how the fairway wraps to the left-hand side. I usually throw my long bowman here. I want something that softly flips up to flat, almost to flat, but I want that overstability that fades me around the corner. I had great angle on this. Really stoked about it. It held perfectly how I wanted to. I was actually pleasantly surprised when I got up to my lie and saw how close I was, because the long bowman doesn't have a ton of glide to kind of carry around the corner. I'm relying more on the skip, and I threw it high, so I thought maybe it would dig a little bit on me. But it did manage to get all the way around the corner. I don't usually birdie this hole. Something seems to go weirdly wrong, so I'll take it. Hole 27, last hole on the course. It's 325 feet. You can go forehand up over the hill and have it fade down past the brush into the green. I like to go with my fuse and kind of a high turnover shot, or it just sort of follows the fairway. Unfortunately, it didn't really want to glide. I'm not really sure if I misread the tailwind or something or what. So I'm left here at like circle's edge for the birdie look. And to finish off this round, that was probably the most solid putt of the round. I was super
There you have it, guys. There is River Bends Disc Golf Course in Shelby Township, Michigan. Feel like I shot pretty well. I won't really know until I go back and watch this then and create my scorecard, but I'm pretty sure I'm like 5 or 6 under par, which is awesome. I'm very happy with that. This course can very quickly have you bouncing around and catching unnecessary bogeys. So I did end up with the 1 bogey, but it happens. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. As always, like, subscribe, take care of yourself, and throw well.